Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X. And no Ish today, but he will be here on Tuesday for our recap show. Today, of course, we are here to preview the divisional round games. And before we get into that, we want to go ahead and let you guys know we appreciate y'all for tuning in on Facebook. If you are there on Facebook, please make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. If you are tuning in on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. And as well, if you are on Twitter checking us out on Periscope, we do appreciate that. And I'm also going to retweet the show on my personal page at X_Williams. 81. Alrighty then, with that being said, we appreciate y'all once again for tuning in to X Talking Ish. The season is here, the real season that we, as football players, like to say. Of course, the regular season has come and has gone. We are now in the postseason where legends are really made, and we will see really soon. Can some of these guys continue on building on the legacy, like, of course, Patrick Mahomes, or even a guy maybe like a Joe Burrow? Or can some of these guys create their own legacy, like a Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Dimes Jones, or, of course, everybody's favorite? You thought I was going to say Dak. No, sir, Mr. Brock Purdy in the building to find a way to bring the 49ers to the Super Bowl. So we are here on a Saturday afternoon pregame show. The first game we have coming up on the Saturday slate, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going into Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. This game at the moment, if you are tuning in, looking at the pregame show on NBC, you will see that there is a little bit of snow trickling. There is a little bit of weather that could play a factor in this game. Overall, the Chiefs are the dominant, heavy favorite team in this game, and they don't need anything else to help them win this game. But if the weather trends to the Kansas City side, it's going to be very difficult for the Jacksonville Jaguars to pull off this upset today. But in reality, though, the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing with house money. They are probably a year at least ahead of schedule in regards of the Doug Peterson changeover, and they have an opportunity to place spoil and find a way to make it to the AFC Championship game with the additions that the Jacksonville organization was able to make in the offseason, and of course have Trevor Lawrence be able to get through that trash of a year with Urban Meyer and lead this team to a conference championship game appearance. That'll be unheard of. Of course, it won't be something that we've never seen before, as in, of course, last season with Joe Burrow. But it's something that we will I think everybody in the football community will say, wow, I mean, Jacksonville to go from easily one of the worst teams to the top two teams in the AFC within a year, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. So this game to start off the playoff slate for the weekend is going to be very interesting because it's probably going to set the tone on how the rest of these games go. Because if I'm being honest, I feel like this is the only game where the Chiefs should win this game. Like, there should be no reason why they shouldn't lose the game, right? The next three games afterwards, they're questionable. They could go either way. I don't think there is, in these next three games, there is a game where you can say definitively this team is going to win this game or this team is going to win this game. I think a lot of these games are split, even with the next game we'll talk about very shortly, which will be the Giants and the Eagles. You know, again, I think probably the Eagles are probably a heavy favorite, but there are a lot of people that will ride the New York Giants momentum and will say that the Giants belong here in the divisional round. And they could probably beat the Eagles. So let's stay on topic. Let's stay with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chiefs. And we're going to get to the comment section right quick. And shout out to the Cuzzo. Got Dwayne on the broadcast right here. And, of course, he loves his Chiefs. And most likely, I'm pretty sure he'll probably go see him a game. If not this season, then most likely next season. With that being said, we already know Chiefs are the heavy favorite. Most people will be on the Chiefs. Unfortunately, my guy Ish is not with me right now to be able to voice his opinion on the game. So I'm going to make the picks for him of what I think that he would pick. So I'm assuming that he would pick the Chiefs. I mean, I would think. I don't think he would pick the upset of his own team. So we're both of us are on the Chiefs. Again, this should be a game that the Chiefs are built for this, right? You're playing in this type of weather. You've been in this position literally multiple years now. This is nothing new for you. This is all new for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Haven't really been in this position since 2017, where all these players that's on this team right now were not on this roster in 2017. So this is completely new for everybody except for Doug Peterson, who's there leading the charge. But the only way the Chiefs lose this game is if they turn the ball over, don't convert on third down, don't tackle on defense. Literally, just don't play sound football. I mean, that's the only way that I see the Chiefs losing this game is if they go out there, go play sloppy, and not allow their home field advantage to take over because of a Jacksonville Jaguars team. And I looked into this before I came onto the show. If you go look at the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule over the last 6 weeks, they have not been in position to play in a bad weather game. The last couple of games that they did play outdoors, which was Tennessee and the December timeframe, that weather was not what they're going to be playing in Kansas City. And they also played Kansas City as well early in the season. And the weather at that time was not what it is right now. Just firsthand experience for the people that are tuning in. I'll be the first to say, I've been to Kansas City. I've been in that stadium, AFC Championship game, Titans versus Chiefs, 7 degrees. The weather is real. It is a real thing in Kansas City. So if the Jacksonville Jaguars can navigate themselves through the mental block of the weather, they can stay in this game. But I just don't know how they are going to react to this type of weather. It's kind of similar to the Miami Dolphins and their fan base worried about them going to Buffalo every time they play Buffalo because it seems like they have trouble there. New England, not so much, but anytime they play in Buffalo, it's a problem. Hasn't been like that the last couple of games for them. They've been able to compete, but overall haven't finished the game. Great question, Dwayne. My cousin Dwayne asks, "Where is Ish?" That is a great question. I do not know right now. I hit him up. I asked him where is he at. I don't know. So I hope he's okay. I haven't talked to him all day, but most likely I know he'll let me know what's going on a little bit later on today, and we'll see everybody back on Tuesday for XtalknIsh. So let's go ahead and move on to the next topic at hand. Again, we already know what's going to go on with that Chiefs-Jaguars game. It's not too much to talk about. Let's go ahead and get into this Giants-Eagles game. The Eagles are a 7.5-point favorite, and honestly, rightfully so, right? I mean, they won the first 2 games in the regular season. Last matchup, which had everybody healthy in that matchup, the Eagles won by 26. I don't expect another 26-point blowout. But I do expect a very competitive game on both sides of the ball, especially with the New York Giants and just the way that they are able to play. It seems as though they are inspired by their coach, Brian Dable. And it seems as though that as long as they're in the fight, as long as they're in the dog fight, they can find ways to win games they're not supposed to. If they're able to do that tonight, I should say, I mean, why not pull off the upset there? I think there is an opportunity there, especially with Philadelphia, mainly just coming off of the bye. We talk about it all the time when it comes to rust and rest. And it is a real thing. Now, I don't expect that to trickle over into Philly. The thing about Philly is that, and I'm talking about the Eagles, is that it's the fan base, right? It's really the Eagles and the Philadelphia fan base that puts so much pressure on the team to be successful that sometimes they come up short when they have really, really good teams. We've seen this before in the past. It's the reason why they won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, because Nick Foles is just able to go out and go play. He didn't really think about the pressure like that. Some of these guys from, of course, now Jalen Hurts, of course, leading the charge. You have guys back from, of course, Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham days that just, and of course, Donovan McNabb, my apologies. And of course, like I said, the Randall Cunningham days where it seems as though that maybe the pressure got to them just like a city in New York, a city like LA. It just seems as though maybe they weren't able to get over that hump and that pressure due to the people in the city putting the pressure on you. I don't know if that's going to be the same here. I think Jalen Hurts makes the Eagles the best team in the NFC because of the style of play that he plays with. The way that him and Lamar Jackson play, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people like to compare the two. They're kind of polar opposites, mainly because Jalen Hurts does two things better than Lamar Jackson, which is throw the ball and also run with power, to where he's not run with power and also run a little bit more methodical, to where he's not trying. And I want to word this correctly because I don't want to make the Lamar Jackson fan base upset. He's not doing a little bit of extra that could get him into trouble. Jalen Hurts, I feel as though when I watch him, he's a very methodical quarterback, and I love the growth watching him from here in Houston, here Channelview, to Oklahoma, to Alabama, and also, of course, in the league with the Philadelphia Eagles. To see him transition and get better year in and year out as a quarterback, it's very honestly refreshing. It's very refreshing to see a young quarterback like him have that type of mindset. I think he really is the reason why the Eagles can make a Super Bowl run. Is, of course, along with the weapons that are around him. But as long as Jalen Hurts is healthy, the Eagles should be favored in probably most of their games. Now, the real thing and the real big question mark for the Eagles is their defense. Can the defense step up and play the way that you should be playing because of the names on your back? Now, some of these guys, I'm talking about guys like a Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, some of these guys a little over the hill, to where you're going to need these young guys like the Jordan Davises to step up and play well to help out the rest of this team, because they're going to have to rely on everybody on that defensive side of the ball to not just win this game, but win every other game in the playoffs. Let's get to the comment section right quick. Greg says, this should be closer than what people expect, but the Eagles should pull it off. I definitely agree. Dwayne says Eagles by 4. I love the score breakdown as well, too. He also says D-line is nice. Linebackers are suspect. Yes, I definitely agree on both statements. But again, when it comes to playoff football, as long as your offense can score, if the Eagles can score and not find ways to mess it up on the offense side of the ball, if you're on the defense side of the ball, all we need is just for you not to give up 21 points. If you cannot give up 21 points, the Eagles should most likely win most of the games that they are in. Again, should. I've seen crazier football in my lifetime. So there is no guarantee just because you hold a team under 21 points doesn't mean you're going to win the game. Again, very interesting game. Most people are probably picking the Eagles like Ish and I. I think Ish probably would pick Danny Dimes and the Giants. But I'm picking the Eagles for him because he actually has the Eagles winning the Super Bowl before the season started. So to keep up with his prediction, I got to pick the Eagles for him. So if he doesn't want the Eagles, then we can talk about it on the Tuesday show and recap, and he can say that I'm wrong. But for right now, I'm having Ish pick the Eagles again because Ish isn't here. He's not able to have his view on what he would think about what would go on in the game. But overall, this is going to be a very interesting nightcap of a game. And after this game tonight, this, of course, takes us into Sunday afternoon, where we start off with one of two very, very good games on Sunday, which, like I stated earlier in the show, could go either way. This is, of course, a rematch of the Week 17 game between these two in Cincinnati. Of course, the Lamar Hamlin situation, which leads us to where we are now. And we all should know by now that if the winner of this game is the Bills and the winner of the Chiefs, then we'll have a neutral AFC championship game in Atlanta. If that is the case, some people are okay with it. Some people don't like it. NFL just have to do what they have to do. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I just know that that's just where the chips have lied, right? I mean, the last couple of seasons, just due to COVID, things have not been normal. So you just have to adjust. And that's kind of how this game has turned into what it was in Week 17. My lifetime of playing and watching football, I've never really seen a game an NFL game, I should say, get canceled. Unless it's, I mean, I've seen a Hall of Fame game because of the field conditions that they had one year. I want to say it's 2010, 2011. They canceled a Hall of Fame game because of field conditions. Other than that, if it's an NFL game, I mean, the only reason why we're not playing is because of severe weather during the game type of thing. But majority of games are going to go on. This one did not. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. For everybody do remember, it was towards the it was about second quarter where this incident all happened. So it was about 7-3 that game. So you can't really say that one team would have won. You know, this team would have won. It's too early in the game. A lot of variables could have happened throughout the next 3 quarters of that game. So we run it back on a fresh slate. And like I said earlier, this could be a split. I don't know what Ish is thinking. He could be thinking the same way I am when it comes to the Bengals and Joe and a little bit of Joe Burrow magic. Now, I'll be the first to say, I do understand and I do know that Joe Burrow is missing 3 offensive linemen on his staff right now, to where they probably shouldn't win this game just due to the injuries that the Bengals have at this moment. I would say that if it wasn't Joe Burrow, though, and what makes me mad about saying that is because we saw this last season. Every game that he went through in the playoffs, there were times where we were saying to ourselves, "It's no way that he should be winning this game. It's no way that he should be even in this game right now due to the offensive line play." Here we go a year later, even though they made the offensive line better in the offseason just due to injuries, they are where they are at this moment. The best thing for Joe Burrow last week is that they probably played a better pass rush that they are facing. They faced last week comparison to this week, to where if he was able to get past that and win that game, the Bills are a very suspect part of their team, to where I don't think is as good as what it was last season and maybe even the season before. Statistically, the Bills might look good here and there, but when you watch them play, they do give up a lot. And even just last week when they played the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo, you give up 31 points. And you can say it's a divisional rival. You can say we weren't expecting what we were expecting from Skylar Thompson, a third-string quarterback. But when you have a rookie quarterback come in there and is not game ready, if I'm Buffalo, you're supposed to go out there and pin your ears back and go out there and find ways to disrupt him as much as possible to be uncomfortable in the pocket to make sure that y'all win that game by more than 3 points. That's just my opinion. But here we are now in the divisional round, and with Von Miller still out, I don't think the Buffalo Bills have enough to be able to disrupt Joey Burrow in the pocket, because Joe Burrow is a tactician in the pocket. If you watch him, he's very similar to Peyton Manning in the pocket by the way he works it. And if he's able to stay upright, the Bengals have a chance, as long as, of course, they can keep it close in the fourth quarter. I don't see why the Bengals can't pull off the upset. I think Ish, and again, for everybody that's just now tuning in, I'm picking for Ishmael because he's not here. The reason why I picked the reason why I picked the Bills for Ish is because I think that he would take the home field advantage. I think he'll take Josh Allen. I think that he would take the Bills in this matchup. So that's why we have this split. And again, if I'm wrong, he can correct me on Tuesday. But for right now, we are split on this because I feel like most of America might be split on this. Even though the Bills are a 5-point favorite, the Bengals can easily win this game outright and be on their way to a second consecutive AFC Championship game appearance. Who will they play? Of course, we don't know now. Again, if it's the Chiefs will be hosting the AFC Championship game. If the Chiefs lose and Jacksonville win and the Bengals win, then that means we will have the AFC Championship game in Cincinnati. So we don't have to worry about going to Atlanta. So a lot of things can still play out in the AFC. Nothing is solidified at the moment. So we'll have to see how everything plays out. Fracture Walnut says, yo, what up, X? I appreciate you for tuning in as always, my boy. He says, I think the Bills defense will be okay today. It all depends on which Allen will show up. Turnover Allen, TD Allen is the biggest factor in this game. Of course, I got to agree with you on that. But we do know that no matter if it's turnover Allen or touchdown Allen, we know Josh Allen going to show up, right? So that's what we don't need to worry about too much for the Bills. It's the defense, right? I mean, the defense is what we are really worried about when it comes to, do they have enough to not give up these big plays, to be able to get off the field on third down, to be able to make a stop when it's necessary, to be able to maybe give the ball back to Josh Allen if they need to make a late quarter push for either for a field goal or a touchdown. That's what I think is going to be the biggest question in this game is, can that Bills defense slow down Joe Burrow in this offense? Again, we shall wait and see. Now, of course, I know everybody's favorite team, Dallas Cowboys. I know everybody's waiting on this game. Dallas Cowboys, of course, at the end of the slate here on Sunday. Some people feel like it's not fair because they had to play on Monday and the Niners played on Saturday. We get a little more rest. But, hey, it is what it is. It's playoff football. It's no complaining. Nobody cares about how you feel. Everybody's hurt, and you just have to go out there and go put your best foot out there, right? So, with that being said, there's a lot of talking going on before this game starts already, and it seems as though that head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, feels some type of way already about being a 4-point underdog. Now, I'm pretty sure, of course, he'll use that as motivation for this team, but let's be honest, I don't think they really need that much motivation because of their owner, Jerry Jones, of course, gives them plenty of motivation to keep on reiterating how great this 90s Cowboys team was and what they were able to do. And can y'all be this 90s team? Can y'all do what y'all need to do to get over the hump? That's what it seems as though that Jerry Jones is putting that pressure on the Cowboys in this roster. And can they get it done? Honestly, yes, they probably can. I think that this team is one of the better teams we've seen in the last 15 years. I feel like they kind of lost. They lost a couple of years ago where they had that healthy line, and maybe even last year. A lot of people say maybe even last year they lost it to where they should have maybe at least made a conference championship game. But this might be one of the better opportunities for them this season to not just make a conference championship game, but also go back to the Super Bowl. And if anybody knows anybody that has any Cowboy fan relation, we do know that if Cowboy Nation go back to the Super Bowl, it's gonna be pretty lit because these boys gonna be talking they heads off until the cows come home. Now this game is interesting because of everything that is in place. This is going to be the most played matchup in playoff history. This will be the 9th time that these teams will meet. The history and the moments that these two teams have been able to create, not just, of course, in the postseason, but in the regular season as well, is something that is pretty outstanding, especially for the game of football. And for them to be good once again and put on another show for us on a Sunday night, I think everybody's in for a treat, especially if you are a footballs fan. So to get us up on out of here for today, this will only be a 30-minute show for today. And on Tuesday, we will come back with an hour-long show. I have the 49ers. Ish has the Cowboys. Again, my guess, I think he has the Cowboys. I could be wrong. He could be going with the Niners as well, too. He could be going with Purdy. I think maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. But I think he might switch his mind and say, hey, I'm going to go with the Cowboys where they've been looking, the defense. I think he could switch over to Cowboys. I don't know. But again, Ish, if I'm wrong, my apologies. Slap me upside the head and correct me on Tuesday. Fracture One says, all I ask is that Kyle does not, and I repeat, does not get cute with the play calling. Yeah, I mean, he does that from time to time. Fracture One also says, it will also be the most played game on Madden after the Cowboys lose, and the fans will run up the score on Madden. I didn't know where he was going with that, but yes. We all know anytime our team loses, we have to go out and go prove that it was bullshit on Madden. Nah, we ain't gonna lose like that. We're gonna go out here and duke it out one more time on Madden. Nah, I understand where you're coming from on that one. Fracture on that. All right, we appreciate it once again for everybody tuning in. This was just a quick pregame show of the divisional rounds. We hope y'all enjoy these 4 games over the weekend, and we literally have 2 more weeks of football after this. I mean, I guess if you want to count the Pro Bowl and the flag football show, I guess 3 more weeks of football. But we have 2 more real weeks of football left, and that's the football season, and then we'll see y'all next season. So one of those seasons that again goes by slow, but also goes by fast, and we'll see y'all next year just like that. And Fracture One says, just like the Grizzlies with that loss to the Lakers, enjoy your week. Yeah. Wow, what a Hollywood production that was when it comes to Shannon Sharp and LeBron and the Lakers. Wow, I ain't gonna get into that. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday. I don't want to get into that right now. But anywho, we appreciate y'all as always tuning in to XtalknIsh. Enjoy y'all weekend. We'll see y'all on Tuesday at 9:00 Central Time PM and 10:00 Eastern Time PM. See y'all next week.